start with Jesse this week.
Yeah, Lance, how well do you know Chris Klieman?
I've known of Chris for a very long time. I wouldn't say we know each other really well. I have a lot of respect for him. We have a lot of mutual friends, I think, in the business, just kind of by where we grew up and interaction. Members of his staff as well. Connor Riley's offensive line coach, played for us in Omaha and started his career as a grad assistant when I returned there. He worked closely with Scott Fuchs at North Dakota State as the tight end coach, and Scott was the O-line coach. Steve Standard, Courtney Messingham. There's others on that staff that I know, and I think there's some parallels probably to how we progressed staff-wise in this profession. So, again, I got a lot of respect for them.
What are your general thoughts about K-State's program?
Well, I think he's put that program back to in a position that it was under Coach Snyder and maintained some things. Well coached, physical football team. Continue to excel in special teams. I think they're dynamic as they've been. So again, they hit a bump and got themselves kind of back where they want to be. So it's going to be a big challenge and an exciting one for us to continue, to play our in-state rival and get another opportunity to progress as a team, but also to measure ourselves and continue to grow.
How do you approach this rivalry game against K-State?
Well, again, it's opportunities when, it's one thing you can talk to our players about is, they've all had an opportunity to essentially play in a rival game in high school and hopefully there's a lot of things that goes into, extra motivation and energy and around it and enthusiasm about the opportunity. But, as we continue to build our program, we want to make sure that we're staying focused on the things that we also need to, and that's our daily preparation and all that. But there's a lot that can be gained for a program like ours as we work to build this by playing well on Saturday.
And what did the film show you about Jason's performance on Saturday?
I think, again, the importance of Jason getting off to a good start is important for him and our offense and our football team. And, one's, first interception's kind of off the hands. And I think that, there's a couple other things that happened that he didn't probably respond to the way we wanted to, the third down pass behind Luke Grimm. And then, a poor throw on the interception that I think he knew from the time, it left his hand that it wasn't, he wasn't on the same page as the receiver and those things. So again, that really snowballed on him. And I think, and as I talked about on the sideline about getting his composure back and doing those things. And then the second half, as I told you after the game, we just made a decision to give him a chance to just kind of sit back a little bit, maybe sooner than we wanted to, but to give him an opportunity to kind of maybe learn and progress in a different way.
We did it. I'm out of questions. I don't know what to ask. I want to ask you about cornerbacks, I guess, starting off.
Okay.
Dabney obviously played.
Yeah.
And, was Jeremy Webb unavailable?
Yeah, Jeremy's kind of been day to day. We hope to have him available. He did not practice today. So something he's been working through. And it was kind of a game time. He went through warm-ups and some days are better than others for him right now. And we'll kind of see. I thought Cameron played well, played the most of all of them. He's, as you watch him grow and mature, become comfortable in his first year in this program, brings a lot of energy. He plays with confidence, but I don't know if I remember a young corner grasping concepts of what's happening around, not just what we're doing, but times when I move from meeting room to meeting room, he's a guy that's always speaking up and understanding. That's impressive. And yeah, he had some on the job training, learning thing. But at the end of the game, he's battling and breaking up passes. So he didn't flinch, and really proud of him. Really proud of him. And he's played some special teams, and I look for him to keep seeing playing time and progressing through this last third of the season.
Any update on Jacoby?
Yeah, he actually practiced today. Did a little bit yesterday. We'll see. Don't get any reports yet back about what full availability is, but it's definitely moving in the right direction.
And Jeremy Robinson started, but then he ended up getting kind of banged up.
Yeah. Again, I would see him as questionable in this as we work through this week. But yeah, we did lose him during the game.
Jason, just how has he responded the past couple of days after?
I think, he's, as you guys know, he's not he's pretty even keeled to begin with. So, that's good in these situations because he doesn't let his highs get too high and his lows be overly low. And he understands and knows he needs to play a little better, but we all need to do better. And that's the thing is that that's the position. Of course, it gets magnified when you play well, as we talked about a week ago at this time. And now we're talking about it back in another direction. And we just got to get back on a better page. But I think today and yesterday, he knows it. Let's turn the page and let's work on what we need to, and let's work to get better and get ourselves back on the right track. Because, and you guys were there. I'm not saying it changes the outcome of the game, but we feel a little differently. We just get one or two of those first downs in a couple of those series. All of a sudden, it's just, whether it be through clock or just a little confidence, and all of a sudden, you're 0 for whatever, and you don't have any first downs, and everything's there just 1 yard. And we continually talk about straining for extra yards and the difference and of getting a first down on short yardage and all those things. And we never were able to get that. So holistically, not just with him, it needs to be better.
I just wanted to ask you about, you kind of touched on the rivalry aspect, but just in your years as a coach, do you ever do anything different with a rivalry game or a rivalry week, or is it just kind of standard, just like any other week? Or
not really. We kind of talked a little bit, about some things, and, you have to, like I said, you look on paper and you do a lot of different things. It's our responsibility. It's my responsibility as the head coach here at the University of Kansas to build this football program in such a way that this rivalry is a balanced rivalry and one that our whole state can, and especially our alums, can get behind and be an exciting game. And we know as of late we haven't done that. Okay, now internally, it's a matter of embracing what the game is of a Governor's Cup and a trophy game. You see it all, you see it all over Sports Center and other places about what those are and the excitement that goes around them and what you can build. But not just with a rivalry game, but it can be any game. I guess I've tried to take it through our time is that we try to keep a level of importance for every game. Okay. And as we know, we battled in the first game of the year against a South Dakota team from FCS. We didn't take that any less important than we did this rivalry game or the number 3 team in the country. I think again, you're sending a message that other games are more important. And as a student athlete, what does that mean in my preparation? This one doesn't mean as much, or what is it? Because once the ball's kicked off, a lot of that other stuff, as we know, you're still lining up against somebody and you still got to go do your job. I don't think all of a sudden there's something. I guess I've never been that type of guy. That I go way back to 100 years ago when I played. And one time after I was done playing, I started thinking about all those great fire up speeches that the coach gave. And I tried to remember one I remembered by the time I hit the field, and because you're turning the page into something else. So that's why sometimes less is more.
Lance, I wonder if you could just talk a little about Kenny Logan. You guys connected early once you got here, and we talked a lot about that with you early in the season. But
in terms of what he means to this program and the rebuild and, more of that kind of thing than just X's and O's?
Kenny's got such a great personality and charisma. He's such a likable person that, he connects with so many different people. That's the thing that's impressive. And he likes being around, any of us in this room, as well as his teammates and roommates alike. And, it's amazing there's people that have coached here in the past that know Kenny through the earlier times that told me that he still connects with them. That's just what he's about. And his passion for the game, first of all, for our team to be successful is really there. And I think through that, Matt Gildersleeve and I have talked a lot with him and how he's viewed within the locker room, quite honestly, viewed by many of you. And what that role is and what that does for our program now and for the future, what he can do. And I think he's starting to understand that more and more and embracing that. He continues to play well each and every week. He's understanding things more. I think he's got his comfort level in the defense is growing every week. And so with that, we can build upon, because as you know, and we've said this before, is when you're confident what you absolutely know what's happening, your body language, your voice projection, all those things can change. And that's changing with Kenny here the last few weeks. And you see it even playing out a little bit more. He continues to play even faster, I think. And I say faster in reactions and where he's getting and what he's doing in those things. And he's not that anyone's more important than anyone else, but he is a key component of us, the rest of these 4 games of this season. He will be very important during the off season and the continuation of building our program.
When you mentioned that charisma that he has, is that rare? Do you look for that when you're recruiting guys? Can you identify it, or is it something that is just kind of there with some guys? And
I think some guys have a little more than others. I think sometimes it could be comfort, it can be maturity, but sometimes it's false confidence though. You have people that, they talk a lot because they're nervous but I just say is that, Kenny's willingness and wanting to, he's always around the building. He's always around people that are in this organization, so to speak, in different roles. And that confidence of he would rather be in this building than sitting in his apartment. Okay. And that's sometimes very unique too. And when you're not required to be here with 18 to 22-year-olds. And I think that's partly something that he has, not being in part of the recruiting of him and to see him as a 17, 18-year-old, I can't really say, but what's been handed to us in that is really impressive. And yeah, do you like to see that in recruiting? And a lot of times you can tell in the home, depending on, what the support system is, who's doing most of the talking, all those other things, or where it's all at. But he's, I think he's kind of special in that way. And I don't know if Kenny would like a lot of Kennys around him though, so I'm joking with that, but.
Yeah, I know Texas Tech and TCU made changes with their head coaches in recent weeks. I was just wondering what your reaction was.
Yeah, you never like to see, anyone lose jobs, because as we know, when it was for that, I wouldn't stand here when jobs open, but there's a lot of people that affects, and all the way through. And obviously people have reasons, and administrators and above for making decisions when they make them. But as we know, it seems to be more common that in-season decisions have become more frequent. And again, just like we've been talking about culture and things in the locker room and getting guys to be motivated and to play and that it's not for my I've got enough to worry about here in building our program, but it's difficult. Gary Patterson, I had in the AFCA, and I had a short stint on the board of trustees while in the Mid-American Conference, and to see what a real leader he he was within our profession, within things that are happening and changing within our game, and what he's done. And when you're able to see coaches, sometimes, of course, through COVID, a lot of that was through Zoom, their perspective on the betterment of the game of college football, not just the betterment for their own university and program. Gary Patterson was definitely one of those at the top of the list, and I'd say another one that we played this year was David Cutcliffe. When you have a chance to, I was looking forward to having a chance to compete against Coach Patterson. And I know, and even when I got this job, he talked about being from the state of Kansas, and he has a strong connection and passion for the state and things like that. And so we lost a good one there. And sometimes when you go that long out of school, you just hope you get a chance for it to be on your terms.
Okay, welcome to Zoom. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Lance, with somebody like Devin Neal, who's local, can you use that as you're recruiting local kids and going up against local schools of his success and what he's doing early?
Oh, absolutely. John, I think that speaks for itself. Is, Devin had options. Everyone, has their own reasons for what they do, but I think he's got the right frame of mind about this football program, our university, this community, a lot of things that he can talk to about experiences and from in so many different ways, but also, the desire that, we've talked about, this game and rivalries and things like that is, one thing that's apparent is, we need more players from the state of Kansas on this roster.
And I saw something from the Remington list this morning. They were praising the job Nowitzki's done. I was just wondering if you could talk about what you've seen him progress each week.
Yeah, he's been ultra tight. It's funny you say that because I just had a text from Dave Remington. We GA'd together at the University of Wisconsin, and he sent me a copy of the graphic. So I was real appreciative of that Mike's work, even though, where we're at record-wise and things like that, sometimes, it's you're pretty much an unknown person, anonymous person in the trenches anyway. And then, if you're playing on a team that's record isn't what others may have at the moment, for him to still be recognized through that, it says a lot. It says a lot about Mike. He's still the same positive young man that he was, when he stepped on the field in August, and he continues to work and grow. And again, that's, you asked about Devin Neal and you asked about Mike. Those are two guys that we want to continue, along with Earl Bostic and others that we're going to build around. But you hopefully use those guys in recruiting, not just their performances, but their leadership and positivity about being here at Kansas.
Yeah, and then last question from me. Kansas State over the years has built a lot of walk-on kids locally who've ended up being on the team and contributing. How do you guys look at that, the walk-on program?
Yeah, it's kind of what I said, it's not every program needs walk-ons, not just to be practice players, but to create depth and competition and hopefully have that opportunity. I wish I had the number, at our last school, how many walk-ons we did put on scholarship and played significant amount of football. And kind of, as I said there just a second ago, was we haven't done enough of that here. I don't know why. I'm not worried about why, but we have talked about it of doing a better job with that. We don't want it just to be lip service. We want to make sure that our local coaches and all the way to the western border understand that we want to try to make that work and give young men an opportunity, and also within a short radius of here as well. If it crosses state lines, those are the places we'd like to start our walk-on program, and hopefully that improves here in a short period of time.
Hey, Coach, just building off what John said about Mike Nowitzki, overall, how do you think the offensive line has progressed throughout the season?
I think we continue to progress and get better. I can't say it was a great day. I don't think we had a sack, did we? I don't think we gave one up. But at the same time, it wasn't a very stellar day didn't throw all that much, and it wasn't overly productive play against a very physical and impressive defense. But I've been pleased. I guess sometimes I'm not one into huge comparisons. You probably learn that from me as we continue everyone to work together, but I'm not about where it stands from a year ago or 2 years ago, but I have had people say that they see a difference in it. And I'm just more worried about they take another step this Saturday and continue that through the final third of the season.
And last one from me. What do you think a win against K-State would do for this program?
Well, I think a win in general will help this program. I think, again, progression, confidence, I guess, within this team. I think a win is going to definitely help our confidence. And I keep saying, for us, it's you really look at 3 months of a season now, and you've got them in, you got it into thirds, and we're in our last third of the season, and it'll continue to help morale and to continue our work, to finish strong and improve on a daily basis. What it will do for us as far as confidence and going against those, it'll help us in recruiting. It'll help in a lot of different ways within our alumni and fan base. So it is, but we understand that, but I think each week we could say very similar things.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.